A reward stops being a reward at the moment it no longer has to be earned. And the only men who argue with that are usually the ones living it. If you've ever told yourself, I've earned this, stay with me. This is Iron Suits where strength wears a crown. I am Marwan Killu. I've been hearing the same 4 words for years. Clients say them to me. Friends say them. I've said them myself, probably on quite a few occasions. And the first time you say those 4 words, they probably make sense. You've carried pressure all week. Then you get to Friday and you book one of those places where nobody asks the price. Everybody's relaxed. Someone raises a glass. Cheers. The waiter keeps filling the wine glasses up. Nobody's counting anymore. And somewhere between the first glass of wine and dessert, you tell yourself, I've earned this after the week I've had. It's only tonight. I'll tighten up on Monday. You have to enjoy life. And you should. Life is too short not to. But that's not what I'm talking about. What interests me isn't what ended up on the table. It's what happened 5 seconds before it did. I don't give a fuck whether you ordered the 16-ounce tomahawk, the 60-day aged Australian Wagyu, or the extra bottle of wine. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in what you said to yourself right before you ordered it. This isn't about the steak, nor is it about the wine. It's about the 4 words that sound completely harmless. See, the sentence isn't a lie. The frequency is. Because after a while, you're not really rewarding what you achieved anymore. You are rewarding what you endured. A difficult week, a meeting that ran late, a delayed flight, a day that took more out of you than it should have. And once endurance qualifies, you never run out of reasons. The rewards never changed. What qualified for it did. At the beginning, you'd earned it. You had a record month. You dragged the business through a difficult quarter. Fair enough. Then life carried on. A difficult week, a difficult month, a meeting that ran late, a delayed flight, and for whatever reason, those started qualifying too. Until one day, surviving earned the same reward as making it a record month. You never sat down and decided a difficult week. You never sat down and decided a difficult week deserves the same reward as a record month. But somewhere along the way, that's exactly what happened. And after a while, you stopped asking, did I earn this? You started asking, did I have a hard enough day? Because here's what I find interesting. The standard doesn't move at work, does it? You wouldn't reward your your team for having a hard week. Oh, we had a hard week today. We didn't hit targets. Oh, that's fine. There we go. There's like, I don't know. There's $500 behind the bar. Okay. Go and enjoy yourself. Here's $1,000. Here's a bonus for having a hard day. That's not how it works, is it? That's not what you do. Well, maybe that's what you do. I don't know. So I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine that your CFO walks into your office and then says, profit was down, but it was a difficult quarter. What would you do in those moments? Would you understand? Yeah, you understand. Would you accept it? No, you wouldn't just accept it because that didn't get you to where you were. Right? Because difficult doesn't become the standard. The whole reason that you got where you are because you didn't accept anything apart from results. In business, difficult doesn't become the standard, results do. And then you go home, you stand in front of the mirror and make the exact argument that you'd never accept at work. It's been a difficult month. I've had a lot going on. I'll tighten up next week. Right? Yeah, maybe you've had a difficult month and maybe you've had a lot going on. But then that sentence again, I'll tighten up next week. Right? Suddenly, effort becomes enough. Like you demand results everywhere else, but you are the only person you've allowed to invoice effort. You would question whether anyone else was doing their job properly if they kept giving you effort instead of results. Hell, if it was your CFO giving you, telling you that profits were down all the time, you might even fire him. You would you wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't accept it from your team. You wouldn't accept months and months and months of losses. But when it's you call it a difficult season. The standard never changed. Only who you stopped applying it to. Maybe that's a part worth looking at. Because after a while, I've earned this stops being a celebration and starts becoming compensation. Not for what you achieved, but for what you endured. You see the difference? Success used to buy the reward. Now pressure does. And once pressure becomes a currency, you'll never be short of reasons to spend it. You build a reputation on being the man who could carry pressure. But somewhere along the way, you started paying yourself for carrying it. A difficult quarter, a stressful month, a heavy week. And every single time you wrote yourself the same invoice, I've earned this. That's the arrangement now. You call pressure part of a position when people are watching, then use it as permission when they're not. So you get to keep both identities, the man who can handle anything and the man who deserves an exception because he had to. Both can't remain true forever because Strength was never supposed to come with an invoice. You wrote one anyway. And maybe that's why those 4 words are so dangerous. Not because they make you eat the steak, or order the dessert, or pour another drink. Those things were never the point. The sentence was, because every time you say, I've earned this, you're not describing what's happening. You're changing what the sentence means. You're taking something that used to be a reward and quietly turning it into a right. See, rewards have to be earned. Rights don't. And once something becomes a right, you stop asking whether you've earned it. You start expecting it. That's why the agreement is so hard to see. Because it doesn't feel like lowering your standards. It feels like being fair to yourself. But fairness has nothing to do with it. The standard was never asked how hard the week was. It never cared how much pressure you carried. It only asked one question. Did you earn it? And somewhere along the way, you stopped answering. You started negotiating. That's the agreement. Not, I've earned this, but I deserve this because my life is hard. See, one tells the truth, the other protects the agreement. They're not the same sentence. One is built on achievement, the other is built on permission. This is Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. I'll see you on the next episode.